All right, so we are back on the W.A.D.E concept presented by The Ring, and I'm back home finally, which is good. Not so good. I caught COVID, so I'm kind of trapped in my home right now. But you know what? I'm back nonetheless. And another man that's talking about being back is one Gypsy King Tyson Fury. Oh no. No man born from his mother can beat my son Tyson Fury. There, finally got my John and Fury impression out of the way. You guys don't know, rumors have been swirling that Tyson Fury is headed for a return in the boxing realm. And while, yes, there's one fight I desperately want to see, I'm not so sure that's the one Tyson wants. And if that's the case, I'm not so sure coming out of retirement's a good idea. What do I mean? The breakdown from home. I'm back. Let's go. So, according to Gareth A. Davies, it's not Davis, I always thought it was Davis. Davies, Tyson Fury will be coming back to professional boxing once more, and his retirement will be finished soon. Fury retired in January 2025 after his second loss. Okay, let's just say this. Number one, Tyson Fury has retired like 45 different times. It's almost like him waking up and breathing. Tyson has retired, I think, back in 2016, retired again after, I think, the Deontay 3 fight. Then teased retirement again, I think, after the Chisora fight, and then came back. And there's just been time and time again where he said he's done with this. It's almost like how Conor McGregor operates with the UFC. He retires and comes back. He, I don't know, gets bored of the sport or, you know, tries to create some headlines by retiring, and then he's back, right? Like, in the moment, I do think that potentially these guys do retire. But as we've seen in combat sports, the greats, they have a hard time retiring. They have a hard time getting away from the spotlight, the limelight, and doing what it is they loved or what it is that they know is a routine, which is fighting. But anyway, this isn't official, but Tyson, I think, is back. I mean, I think that there's one specific reason that he's posted pictures like this on May 14th with Big John Fury, which is interesting because John has not been involved in a lot of what Tyson's done recently, but back in the gym, hands wrapped, looking like he's got a workout in. Like, this is not by chance. It's not a mistake. This is specifically Tyson preparing for a fight. Now, why do I say this could be an issue for Tyson coming back? Well, number one, let's just look at the last two fights for Tyson Fury. Oleksandr Usyk. Both fights, Tyson takes his first loss and his second loss. Those two fights have exposed what Tyson Fury is at the current moment, or at least what he was in those two fights. And honestly, what he was to a degree in the Francis Ngannou fight that went on, I guess, last year. Number one, Tyson Fury has gone up against a boxer and a fighter that is just better than he is right now. And Oleksandr Usyk proved that in both of those fights. Not only did he almost put Tyson away in the first fight, but in the second fight, he outboxed him. And he did so because Tyson was super hesitant and couldn't hurt. Now, we could go down the different avenues and branches of why I think that is. And one of the reasons, I gotta admit, is something that John Fury's actually said that Tyson needs to work on. And quite frankly, it's been evident since you've seen Tyson Fury. It's his physique, it's his weight, it's his ability to hurt guys and come forward and attack, and also be in shape to box. Some ability to stay fit and stay powerful. And I didn't see that in either Oleksandr Usyk fight. Actually, we'll just play the video.
The breakdown from the second fight with Oleksandr Usyk, just set the table for me in terms of what you made of that fight and Tyson's performance.
Well, first and foremost, he had his belt stolen off him, didn't he? He had them stolen off him, to be honest with you.
Okay, well, I disagree about that. I don't think Tyson won either of those fights.
What can you say? When somebody's paid you a shed load of money, they seem to resent letting you stay champion as well, don't they? You know,
I don't understand what the accusation is here. If someone's paid you a shit ton of money, they resent you staying champion. I assume he's referring to Big HE, Turki Al-Sheikh. Does John not remember that Turki essentially was saying, like, I want Tyson to win? Like, Turki was essentially saying that's what he wanted, to win the fight. But John is, like, some way assuming that they robbed Tyson Fury, like specifically somehow Saudi Arabia did, like, even though it was the British Boxing Board of Control that put on the show, that somehow Turkey or whoever robbed Tyson. But then the premise of the whole thing makes no sense, because if what John is saying is correct and Tyson is the guy they paid the bukus of money to, which they paid both guys, but Tyson's the big star, then why would you want Tyson to lose if he's your big star, if he's your big ticket seller, he's your big money? Of course you wouldn't want him to lose, so wouldn't it be the other way? John has obviously a bias, a big one, for Tyson, and that's fine, but what the f*** is he talking about?
probably couldn't afford to pay Tyson that same money again if he'd let him remain as champion. For me, he won both fights. He didn't look in fantastic shape in this second one, you know, and in the first one, he needed more rest time, to be honest with you. He put a full camp in, 7 weeks, got cut. He had 3 weeks rest, and he's back in the gym for another 8 weeks. You can't do those things. So by the time he got in the ring, the first fight with Usyk, he'd overtrained. There was nothing left of him. But he was facing a $10-15 million fine. He was backed in a corner, and he couldn't do it. I told him, take the fine. Take the fine. I said, he's not going to fine you. There's no show without you. There's no show, you know. But anyway, he didn't want to let fans down. He didn't want to let people down. You know, but sometimes you've got to make your own decisions and not care about other people so much. You know, but like I say,
Yeah, I mean, this to me doesn't make any sense either. Because, yeah, the Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk one fight. Tyson did suffer the cut in training that postponed the fight, and then they had to redo the fight. But I don't understand how much more time did Big John Fury want for him to rest? They said he rested 3 weeks, then did another 8 weeks in camp after doing the 7 weeks. That means that both guys did that. That means that Oleksandr Usyk also had to reformat and reschedule and then go and train himself to the bone to get ready for the fight again. I don't understand like what John is even talking about here. But again, this is not what I'm trying to get at. John alluding to Tyson Fury being overtrained. Okay, that's fine. And sure, the first fight was going Tyson Fury's way in the middle of the fight, and then it turned. But the second fight is really what I wanted to talk about and how he speaks about Tyson Fury not being in the correct shape. He's right. Tyson did not look in the best shape ever, and that's kind of where I wanted to bring all this back to. Tyson Fury has done it all. He has been in there with everybody except Anthony Joshua, which is the fight I would want to see him in. I don't even know if that's the fight he wants, but there is a bit of complacency right now with Tyson Fury. Even after the first fight where he lost, you would think that would light the fire in your belly to come back and stop Oleksandr Usyk or beat him or do whatever. And maybe Tyson trained his ass off for that second fight, but it didn't look that way, at least not physically. And not to say that Tyson never looks like physically ripped up or whatever, but he didn't look in that fight especially like he had trained to be strong and fit. It was almost like he had just put on weight to try to use his size, kind of like the Deontay Wilder 3 fight where he put on a ton of weight to use his size and you know, batter Wilder around and clinch him and lay on him and put that weight on him and then eventually find the stoppage. You can't do that to Oleksandr Usyk, who's got some of the best feet in the heavyweight division, who's going to box you, who's going to be able to hit you with slick stuff and use different angles. And these are things that you need to be fit for, but also you need to be strong, because if you can't keep Oleksandr Usyk off of you, then he's going to start to go downhill and put you on the ropes like he did Tyson in both of those fights. So that's when I come back to this and I'm like, all right, well, Tyson retires after the second Usyk fight. Sure, it could have been frustration. Thought he won the fight. I did not. Could have been the fact that, you know, you've lost 2 straight to the guy that's got the belts. What other fight is there for you out there? Again, me personally, I want to see the Anthony Joshua fight, but I'm just wondering what else lights the fire for. Like, what else is there out there that's going to get Tyson Fury out of bed to say, I need to change something. I need to go back and right the wrongs. I need to step back into the ring, because we've seen, I don't know, Leo, you can find the Instagram comment or tweet or something where Tyson essentially said, you know, they stole the first 2 fights for me, but I'm coming back, talking about how he's going to do a trilogy bout with Oleksandr Usyk. And I don't know what would warrant that right off the bat. Like, I have no idea why they would do that. And I just don't think it's a good idea for Tyson. This is why I'm like, if this is Tyson Fury's plan, then stay retired, because I think Usyk will beat him a 3rd time. What changes will he and can he make to be better to win the fight the 3rd time that he didn't do the 1st or 2nd time? And does he have the will, the spirit, the competitiveness, the drive left to do it? After winning world titles and having belts and being undefeated and retiring on and off and coming back for this and coming back for that and watching the complacency in the Francis Ngannou fight and watching it, honestly, not just me saying this, but people in Tyson's camp saying it for the Oleksandr Usyk 2nd fight. You could argue to me, look how well he did even with the complacency, or even maybe not as motivated as he should have been, or maybe not in the shape he should have been. Okay, that's fine. But if you believe that Tyson Fury, who, again, his own camp is saying there's not necessarily the amount of work put into camp, the word complacency's being thrown around, and he wasn't in good shape for the Usyk 2nd fight, if that Tyson Fury couldn't get motivated to do the things necessary to win back all the belts, become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, then what would motivate him for the 3rd one? What would be different there? I don't think there is anything, which is why I say I think Tyson Fury should just stay retired if that's the case, because as close as the first two fights were, there are other guys in the heavyweight division right now making the move up to get a shot at Oleksandr Usyk. Joseph Parker is one of those guys. Obviously, Dubois is fighting Usyk next, and we'll see what happens there, but Joseph Parker is right there as well. And he's been on an absolute tear. I don't know why he doesn't get the next shot. But with that being said, what could motivate Tyson Fury? And I'm not in his head. I have no idea. I don't think anybody really knows what motivates Tyson anymore. But what I would be on board with, selfishly, and I think a lot of boxing fans in general would be in support of, is the only fight that makes sense for Tyson Fury to come back for. There's only one fight he really needs to take, and that's it. There's one. And it's the only thing that, in my personal opinion, he should come out of retirement for. And then after this fight, he should probably go back and retire again. It's Anthony Joshua, because that fight has a little bit more sizzle on its stake. And I'm being dead honest when I say this, than him going for a third try with Oleksandr Usyk. I think that Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua sells more, has more attention, is more intriguing, and ultimately right now, I think, honestly, makes for a better fight. Because Usyk has seen Fury twice and beaten him twice. He knows the game plan. I'm not saying it's easy to beat a guy 3 times, but he's done it already twice. The element of the unknown between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua is exactly why I want to see. I want to see what Anthony Joshua looks like after losing to Daniel Dubois. His career has been a bunch of highs and lows and coming back from defeats and still putting on great performances and then obviously having to get knocked down again and get back. I love it. Again, you're talking to a guy that doesn't care about wins and losses at the highest level because you've proven you're at the highest level. You've proven you're around that top billing. And again, Tyson and Anthony have the biggest fan bases in the UK. They could sell out Wembley. It would make it a whole thing. And again, it's because this also has history. Both guys have been chirping each other for the better part of a decade. It's a natural fight to make because they're both coming off losses to the guys that are fighting for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Joshua to Dubois, Tyson to Usyk. It makes sense. Bang. And if you wanted to somehow put Tyson back in there with Usyk, or maybe even AJ in a trilogy match with Usyk back in there, or I guess I should say the winner of Usyk and Dubois, because Dubois looks like he's in good shape. That's a #1 contenders fight. Again, I think Joseph Parker deserves that next shot, but regardless, it all makes sense. And I do think that is a motivating factor for Tyson Fury, because at this point, we know how good Tyson is. Is he going to get much better? Probably not. Is Anthony Joshua going to get much better as a boxer? Probably not. Can they change things that they do? Can they learn some new tricks? Can they find ways to highlight what it is they already do very well? Yeah, but we know what we're getting. And I think it's a perfect match. I think that this would be one of the biggest fights you can make in boxing right now. It would do better numbers-wise, attention-wise, and everything, especially if you did it in London or, you know, somewhere in the UK, than the heavyweight championship of the world. That's not me saying it's a more important fight, because it's not. The heavyweight championship is the more important fight, but this is a fight that needs to happen. It's the only fight that needs to happen for Tyson Fury. And if he's coming back, this is the one to make, because AJ's a winnable fight for Tyson Fury. Not saying it's just a walk in the park, but it's far more winnable right now than Oleksandr Usyk is. If he's got this vendetta where he's going to go and try to get the Usyk fight again, this is how you prove it. Not just by walking into a trilogy fight because you wanted one, when there are other contenders there needing to fight. I said the same thing about Manny Pacquiao coming out of retirement and walking into a fight with Mario Barrios for the belt. And this is not a shot at Manny. Go get your bread, and if Manny wins another world title, awesome, but it makes no sense. And for Tyson, it makes no sense to just call retirement and then come back and get a shot at the belt. That's not fair. That's not how this is supposed to work. Earn it back. And if you're going to earn it back, do it in the most blockbuster fight the heavyweight division could put on right now in the sport of boxing. Him, AJ, take my money, because that one will sell to the masses. Can you imagine the press conferences? All the years of talk, all the years of buildup. No, the two guys aren't at the top of the game. And yes, this fight should have happened 4 years ago. But still, if Tyson is going to come back and have any level of success, he needs to come back and fight Anthony Joshua. Because if he comes back into a Usyk fight, we will all know what this is, because we've seen it before. It will be Usyk doing what he does and finding a way to win, and Fury having questionable motivation and potentially questionable physique, questionable work ethic, again, all said by his team going into the second Oleksandr Usyk fight. I just think that would happen again in the third, and we would get somewhat of a similar fight, probably pretty close and an interesting one, but not anything different than we've already seen. I want to see something from Tyson Fury that makes me intrigued about him coming out of retirement, because he's done this so many times that it's just a kid that cries wolf. It's like watching a couple in public arguing, one being far louder than the other one for no other reason than to cause a scene and get attention. I hope that's not what Tyson Fury wants out of this return from retirement. This, hey, look at me, I'm back. It's Tyson Fury again. I retired, remember? Even though we all knew that the retirement was not a retirement because he's done this 27 times. And I'm back to get my belts back. And believe me, this time, I'm locked in. I'm doing what I need to do. The work is going to... I don't want that unless at the end of it, he says, and it's all because of you, Anthony Joshua. Then I'm locked in because then I know he's not fibbing. Then I know there is something personal. Then I know there's a real motivation for Tyson Fury to be back in boxing. Otherwise, Tyson, please, please stay retired. But yeah, that's it for me. We have some cool videos coming out this week, guys. Also, make sure you guys are checking out the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. But I'll leave you guys with this. What do you think Tyson Fury's big return will be? Is he going to fight Oleksandr Usyk? Is he going to fight Anthony Joshua? Or in your opinion, should he even come back or stay retired? Don't have those answers, but something is coming. An announcement is imminent. What happens with Tyson Fury? I guess we'll find out.